Hey guys, and welcome back to our Stars and Stripes and Maple Syrup. We are on episode 4, and we have Chad Jarvis, who is in North Carolina today. Hey Chad, how you doing?
Oh, not bad, Gavin. How are you doing? Thanks for having
Uh,
me on.
yeah, no, it was my pleasure. And look, I'd be doing a lot better if I didn't support Sunderland. I think we mentioned that a little bit ago. But tell me, look, North Carolina right now, you said you were originally from Detroit. How does somebody with that background support Sunderland?
Well, I kind of feel like a lot of people, over recent years, when the documentary aired on Netflix, that's when I got hooked. I watched the Sunderland Till I Die documentary, and I believe when I finished it, I tweeted at the club, and somewhere's about 700 people liked my tweet because the club liked my tweet, and then 700 people retweeted it, liked it, so on and so forth. And I kind of fell in love with the club and have been following it ever since. And I've been an active member now with NASA. I'm the membership liaison, so got pretty invested in it. And now I'm too far gone to track back to where I was.
Okay, well, if you've been a fan when we had Premier Passions come out, you'd have at least seen some good seasons between that one and this.
Yeah,
I can only apologize from all Sunderland supporters everywhere for what you have to endure as a Sunderland fan at the moment. Yeah, I mean it's tough. Now you're in North Carolina right now. I think that we had Kev on. I think he's moving out your way actually.
okay,
The Kev from
okay,
Local Report is in Elizabeth City right now. I know he's moving out closer towards Wake Forest.
okay.
I think you mentioned, which I think is not far from you.
Yeah, about hours drive, so
There you go. So
relatively close.
you guys can meet somewhere in the middle and stream a game at a pub. There you
Yep.
go. Okay, so let's get on to yesterday's game. Obviously, MK Dons came on the back of some decent form, Sunderland on the back of some terrible form. And look, the only bright spark of yesterday's game is that both John Ellington and I last week, we predicted that it would be a 2-1 Milton Keynes Don win. We had 10-1 odds on that score. So there was $100 sitting in £100 sitting in the pot for the Bradley Lowry Foundation right now. So good for them, but bad for Sunderland. Obviously, it was a terrible performance. It was a terrible result, especially given the way other results went. So let's start with the biggest question. That's the formation. What did you make of the starting lineup when you saw it released?
I don't know. At this point, when I see the lineup come out, we've played how many games now this season? We played 33 games this season, and to see the same faces in the lineup over and over and over, it's just fatigue that's getting us. I mean, I don't think we're lining up bad. It's just the players are dead right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull you on that one because I thought yesterday's lineup was an absolute shit show. And whether it was a shit show because it's all we've got, or it's a shit show because Alex Neil doesn't know his best 11 yet, and you can excuse that. That's definitely one thing. But okay, look, Sirkin has played pretty much most of the games this season when he hasn't been injured. I don't think Doyle has missed a league game this season, maybe one or two. Wright's just come back from injury. You got Bath, who's still out injured, and then Winchester, who's not a right back. He deputizes pretty well in there, but that back four has played, with the exception of Wright, probably 90% of the games.
Yeah.
And Sirkin and Doyle are what, 19 and 20 or 18 and 17 or whatever they are. They're too young to be playing this much at this stage in their career.
Exactly.
And I'm sure Pep Guardiola is looking over at someone and going, dude, we give you him for 2 years. What are you doing to him?
Mm-hmm.
But he had a reasonable game. I wasn't too unhappy with his game. I wish he would pass it a bit more crisply, and I wish he'd not try to dribble out so much. But based on that, I was okay with that back four. I'd rather have seen Try Hume with another game. But as Neil said in his post-match conference yesterday, he's torn between players who've played too much and players who haven't played enough. And it's just having the right amount of match fitness. So damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly.
But that's where it kind of ended for me with the sensible selections. No, I'll lie. Matetti as the holding midfielder, that lad has been a breath of fresh air since he came in. I think for the games he's played, he's the only player who could walk off the field with any kind of satisfaction in his performance. It's like watching a discount version of Conte from Chelsea.
No, yeah, that's a fair assessment.
But then you have his holding midfield counterpart in Corry Evans. And I cannot, for the life of me, work out what it is that Corry Evans brings to the club as a footballer or an individual. I mean, he's got a pulse and that's about it.
Yep.
He's slow. He dithers on the ball. He never passes with any crispness. He doesn't look like a leader on the field. He goes missing for large portions of the game. And I have him at fault for the second goal. Going to ground too easily, getting nowhere near the ball, leaving Sunderland exposed at the back. But we'll come back to that one because that's not the worst. And you got Dan Neil as the attacking midfield player, and I like Dan Neil. I think he's going to be a cracking player for us. The kid needs a break. Just like Doyle and Serkin, he needs a break. Then you got Diaku on the right, who got very little service and didn't do a great amount. I mean, he put the cross in for the for Stewart's goal, I believe. But other than that, he wasn't really given the opportunity to really get at the back line of MK Dons, who were playing quite high. So just passing that ball behind and having Diaku run around the back of them would have been the perfect ball to play. And the perfect guy to play it was out on the left wing when he should have been central. So putting Pritchard out on the left wing was a ridiculous decision. And obviously Stewart's going to play up front because he's the only recognised forward who's fit that we've got.
It just, I don't know. The back line, Bailey Wright's too slow. But you look at the bench, we don't have any defenders. We don't have anybody.
The big, was he Croat, Serbian, Azerbaijan? I can't remember where he's from.
Yeah.
He's a unit, and he looks as though he will be good. But again, he's coming back from long-term injury as well.
Yeah.
So
he's been hurt since we bought him.
Yeah,
since we brought him in, he hasn't played. I think maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, he's played in the under-23s. And he's looked competent in the under-23s, but obviously it's a big step up to the first team, even at this level. But I'm just astounded when I see Evans starting, and he played up until what the 80th minute when he was replaced, and when they went 2-1 up, and I was just. Look, the lads laugh at me on the chat, because I seem to have a grudge against him. And look, I'll be honest with you, I always seem to dislike one player more than others in our squad. But to say that he's the club captain, I just don't see anything in him to justify that title.
No, me either. Every time I see his name on the team sheet, I'm like, this is the best we can do. What do we bring the likes of Jack Clark in? What did we bring the likes of Patrick Roberts in?
So that brings me to, what would your best starting 11 be? And let's assume that everybody who's questionable, let's keep out the O'Niens and the McGeadys who aren't fit yet. Based on the players available, what would your starting 11 be?
Well, obviously, I would take Patterson out in goal, and if Hoffman was healthy, and hopefully he's coming back, and hopefully he'll be slotted back in the team for the next game. I mean, our back line has to probably pretty much stay the same.
Yeah, I mean, I would take Winchester out of right back and give Ty Hume the run at right back. I mean, he's a natural right back, so it makes sense. And for me, then you move Winchester in that holding midfield role with Matetti, or Matetti, however you want to pronounce it. So now you've got a solid back line. You've got 2 holding midfielders protecting your back line, but both players who can play a bit. And we've seen both Matetti and Winchester get around the pitch. And then I'm kind of stuck because I'm not. Because I think Neil and Hamilton both need enough rest, so I wouldn't play them either. You put Pritchard as the attacking midfielder behind Stewart, and then you play Roberts and Clark on the wings.
Yeah.
And if they can only give you 60, 65 minutes, then so be it. you can bring in Diaco or Gooch, or you can kind of close it up and bring in Embleton or Neil for those players who aren't quite at match level yet. And then even bring in Defoe for Stewart if you need to. But
Yeah, I just think I would agree with you on that lineup. Just get Corry Evans out of the side, please. Just I want him as far away from the starting 11 as possible.
well, look, I'd be happy to go pick him up and drop him off at any club of his choice.
I mean, it seems like early in the season, every time the wind blew, he was hurt.
Yeah.
Right. So no,
he's been a poor signing for us, which is a shame given how much of a. I hate to throw the word legend around, but given how impressive his brother was when Boston said he came here on loan, I had hopes that, look, we're getting a discount Johnny Evans, but I didn't realize we were getting all of Johnny's injuries and none of Johnny's resilience and none of his leadership. And you can tell which brother of those two was in charge when they were growing up.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right, so with Pritchard not being a natural ringer, Hume being a natural right back but not getting a game, and Dan Neil being knackered and out of form, we started with a dodgy lineup to say the least. Diaco had a terrible game. He really did.
Oh, awful.
I felt for him, and when he had the shot on goal in the second half, you could see what he was trying to do. He had to open his foot up because he had a crowded box, but I'd wished he just blasted it towards goal, and then if it rebounds to somebody, great. If not, it's on target. But he looked more donkey than striker or forward player yesterday.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate, but it was more than just the any individual yesterday. I think you look at the team and they're devoid of ideas going forward. They're devoid of confidence. And anytime we seem to be getting attacked against us, you kind of fear for the back four.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like that ball for the second goal yesterday, just Wickham took the ball, and I was like, yep, this is going to be a goal. There's no way we're going to defend this. And Bailey Wright looked like he was, I don't know, running in slow motion, and Connor Wickham just went right by him. And
I'm not sure. Connor Wickham's had his injury issues. He shouldn't be running by anybody.
Yeah.
He was never the fastest player when he was with us, but it's kind of the most Sunderland things to happen is that your striker comes back to haunt you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I look at it from the off, from the moment we kicked off, we just didn't look as though we really wanted the win.
No, we and that's been, I don't know, how many games would you say? The last 4 or 5 games or so?
Since I started the podcast.
Yeah. you're the curse. But
there you go.
No, you're
the podcast if Sunderland win.
You're right though. We just don't look like we want to win. And we lost those 3 games against the teams in the bottom, 6 or 7? We just never looked like we were in that game, in any of those games.
No, we just weren't at the game with Bolton. Doncaster, AFC Wimbledon, MK Dons, they just haven't shown up. And look, I understand they're leggy, I understand they're tired, but they get paid a damn sight a good deal of money, even at this level. They get paid more than the average guy in Sunderland does to put on a performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 7 days rest. I know you're training during the week, but you're professionals. You should be able to know how to recoup and get back ready and be ready for a game on Saturday when you haven't played since the previous week.
Yeah, I could see, us bang on more about the fatigue and the amount of games we've played. But like you said, we've had a week since our last game. These are professional athletes. They know how to train and then recover. And given a week between games, this should have been a fresh side ready to go. Now it just looks like a team low on confidence and just like, let's get to the end of the season and we'll finish 12th.
Yeah, I mean, my confidence of staying in the playoff race is ebbing, and I've tried to be very optimistic this season, which isn't my normal mindset. Normally, I'm the ultimate pessimist. I'm the guy at 3-0 up with 7 seconds left to play, still hopes we can hang on for a draw. But I don't know why. I just felt that that this was going to be a different season for us. I thought we were going to. I liked the way the players were we brought in. It looked good. They looked as though they were, and again, for periods of November and December, we looked unbeatable.
Yep.
But now it's like you're struggling to work out where the next win's coming from. Is another win coming? And look, we've never played well against Burton, and we've got them up at the Stadium of Light on Tuesday. And then we've got the big game against Wigan on Saturday next week at Wigan.
That's not going to be good. We're going to get turned over on that one.
I think we're going to get turned over heavily. But you look, but going back to the game, again, the play was dull. It was lifeless. The pitch looked a lot better. The ball moved a lot quicker on the pitch. But we just had no spark. And I think a lot of that is pushing Pritchard out wide left. He wasn't able to get involved as much. So I think that's something we definitely got to address. I understand wanting two holding midfield players, but Evans isn't one of them. And again, I can't say this enough times that Pritchard definitely isn't a winger.
No.
Might as well put him as a kind of a target man centre forward if you're going to put him as a winger.
Yeah, right.
But that's another thing. When did we suddenly decide that we were going route one to Stewart?
I don't know. Yeah, it kind of seems like we're isolating him up front and be like, here, try and do whatever you want and try and get the ball, and maybe you'll luck one in. And I don't know if we've changed that because we brought Defoe in. Because
we haven't played look, Defoe didn't play yesterday. He got limited game time against Wimbledon, limited game time against Doncaster, and obviously he wasn't at the club for Bolton. But I think since Bath came in, there's been a propensity to meander the ball sideways between Cirk and Doyle and Bath/right, and then for Bath/right to hoof it to Stewart and completely miss out the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's because they don't have confidence in Evans and Neil being able to find that, but it's telling how poorly we're moving, how poorly we're resetting when the ball is out of play, and just so slow when the ball's restarted from play. The amount of times yesterday, I being a bit of a nerd, I kind of was following the fouls against Sunderland and the restarts, and we nearly conceded again from I can't think of the kid's name, but he ran us ragged all day yesterday. I have to check my phone, but they got a free kick in the first half. We turned our backs on the ball as we seem to be doing far too frequently. And then you had Moisa.
Oh, Moisa, yeah.
Lost a good save out of Patterson. And look, the highlight of the game yesterday for me was the chat making puns about Twine's name.
Yeah.
And that's about as interesting as the first half got.
Yeah.
And look, Diaku was poor. He had no end product. But the one thing I'll say, having rewatched it, is when you look at when he has made the run down the wing and he's looked across it, there's nobody in the box. Because Stewart's having to come so deep to link play up that he's not then able to make that ball off and then get ahead of where he needs to be. So we need to work something out. I think, look, if you look at the way we played in December with wingers, with width, with pace and positivity, we just have lost all of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's just like, like you said, the back line not trusting the midfield just to hoof it forward and then hope that something falls to Stewart. I mean, it looked bright when Embo come in and had that cross for the goal. I mean, that was a wonder cross that just landed right there. Here, slam it home. And he did. But other than that, it's just like we're so slow and we're so dogged. And we just like to move the ball about the back line and just kind of hope that something happens. I don't think anybody in this side has confidence at all.
No, they definitely don't, and it's telling, because I think Like, I don't want to blame the pitch that the Stadium Light has had, but I think the way they were playing, the ball was starting to hold up on the field, and they weren't able to zip it across the way they were. But they've stopped trying now.
Hmm.
I think it's telling that as much grief as he gets from a lot of Sunderland supporters, the work rate of Gooch is missed. And again,
100%.
look, I think Gooch has been a victim of his own success, of his versatility, that he hasn't had a run in a favored position. But as much as Diaku and Pritchard are good players in their own right, they don't come back and defend. Whereas Gooch is the one who'll come back and he'll be helping out the right back.
Yep.
You'll find and yeah, look, Gooch is prone to running down dead end streets and not playing the right cross at the right time. But I feel a lot more comfortable with Gooch outright, knowing of the work rate that's going to come from him.
Yeah. And you can say almost the same thing about 09 too. Work rate out of this world, tracks back. He's not afraid to go forward. And then when we lose the ball or something, he's right there trying to get the ball back. Say what you want about him. I mean, this side misses Luke 09.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, and again, Luke 09's another one who, for some reason, comes in for stick, but he's every bit what you need in this league. And I think I think Sunderland fans got too used to being in the Premier League. It was great for a decade of the Premier League, even though we had struggles those years. The fact that we were a Premier League team and we were beating Newcastle for a while and we were doing just enough to stay up, and was that roller coaster. But then when we came down with a crash, and obviously we know what happened. And so now you need those. I don't want to say cloggers in your team, because I think it's unfair to Luke 09 and then the Gooch, but you need those players who are going to roll up their sleeves, do the ugly stuff, so that you can win.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday, McEachran for MK Dons did that ugly stuff well. He closed down our midfield too, meant that we couldn't. We closed down our defensive pairing, so they really couldn't get a foothold in the game, and we were screwed.
Yeah, we were clueless. We were looking for ideas, and as we know, in the last 5 or 6 games, nothing has happened. If it's not for Pritchard getting us 2 goals, we don't get a goal yesterday, and we don't get a goal against Cheltenham. Set piece goals from him. I mean, two moments of brilliance from him. I mean, we don't get anything. So now we're struggling to score goals.
So look, the 2 set piece goals from Pritchard were the exception rather than the rule.
Mm-hmm.
I've complained about this to anyone who listened to me over the last 6-7 years at just how terrible Sunderland are at set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of times I've seen us have a corner and look promising, and the ball gets played back to the edge of the area and it gets played down the wing. And before you know, Doyle's passing it back to Hoffman or Burge or whoever it is in goal that day. I'm like, how do you find your own keeper in his own box from a corner when you have someone who's as aerially dominant as Stewart attacking the ball? And we did it last year to a lesser extent with Wyke up front.
Mm-hmm.
But we were able to find a patch between McGeady coming back when Parkinson got to the chop, where he came in fresh, he came in aggressive and looked a different player. So I can only hope that if McGeady's anywhere near coming back to the team, that he'll be able to bring that with him.
100%.
Does anyone know where McGeady is right now? I mean,
I think he's out for an extended period of time. I almost thought it was almost all year, wasn't it?
Well, that would be his career done then. I mean, he only got what, a 1-year extension in his career.
Yeah, I think he's out for quite a while.
Is that you or me? No, that's me.
No, that's
I'm trying to research McGeady, and I've got stupid videos starting up in the background.
That's what I'm doing too.
But yeah, I mean, look, we've missed McGeady. We've missed someone who can slow the ball down.
Oh, for sure.
But because he does it in such a way that you don't like, he's slowing play down without you actually realizing play's being slowed down because he looks so comfortable on the ball. So his ability to be able to get on the ball and be able to see what's going on and then make that pass looks so effortless. Whereas when you've got the players that we've got, Diaku and Gooch and Pritchard to a certain extent, and the two young kids, they seem as though they're rushing with the ball, and we definitely need someone to put their foot on the ball and just slow things down a little bit.
You can probably chalk up them being so like all over the place on the ball to, you know, they're inexperienced per se, you know. They haven't been in, you know, they've had comings up through the youth teams, but not in like a first team setting in a big, I mean, League One. I mean, it's a decent league, but I mean, there's not immense pressure. There's immense pressure playing for the club, but you know, maybe I hear it all the time. Playing for the club adds immense pressure, and that's why most players' careers almost come to die here because it's the fans ask so much. So, you know, those rumblings from the crowd, you know, miss pass here or there, you just get a little bit nervous and a little bit tight, and then things start to go awry, and it kind of snowballs on you. So, like the experience of McGeady, he knows what to do and knows how to handle it. You know, you could chalk that up to these players being younger.
Well, inexperience is definitely going to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt, that there are circumstances in the bench in the game where they really need to be able to just kind of calm down a little bit, and that's where Corry Evans should be coming in. That's where Bath, or if it's right in the back, should be able to say, look, relax, lads. Just relax. We're taking it easy. Or in the event of us going one down, it's like, come on, get your finger out and let's get pushed up.
Mm-hmm.
But we just don't have that character.
No, we this side badly needs a boisterous leader on the pitch.
I mean, I thought Ledbetter stayed a year too long in his playing career, but we miss his leadership.
We do. Very badly.
I thought that I would have loved to have kept Catamol a little bit longer because we missed his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest position that we need to address right now is we need a leader.
Yep. And
I think the way we started the second half showed just how rudderless we are as a team. Obviously, we start attacking, ball breaks down, and bang, we're 1-0 down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as if we saw it coming because they really hadn't threatened that much. I mean, no team did in the first half. But within 3 minutes of the restart, we're 1-0 down. And you could hear it. You could hear it in the stadium. It was like, oh, here we go again.
Yep.
And I mean, it was an abysmal start. The defense was static and it's slow as fuck. It really is. Excuse my language. But it sparked a reaction. There was a bit of a reaction on that. I was quite impressed.
It did. It almost seemed to awaken us. You know,
almost like it started the second half all over again.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's like, okay, we're down. We're down. We're the fans are going to get on us. We're a goal down now. You know, bad run of form. We can't afford to, you know, go any further behind. And within 10 minutes, we get an answer.
Yeah. So, and again, not just the answer. I mean, obviously, we had the chance that fell to Diaku where he opened his foot and tried to place it around the side, when what it needed was just a blaster.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have even been happy for him to toe ping it if it meant going in.
Yeah, I agree there.
But again, it's what prompted things. It's what pushed Sunderland. And again, the goal came through Diaku, who crossed the ball. It was a lovely cross and a lovely finish from Stewart. And at that point, I was like, we might go on to win this. Yep. But then, as we have so many times, we just rested and we thought, okay, we're back in the game. We didn't really push hard. I don't remember any additional chances we had where I thought, oh, wow, that was lucky. We were unlucky there. And so then you had him. He brought off substitutes quite early yesterday, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was like I was about to say, 56th minute, we subbed on Jack Clark and Embo. So I mean, straight away they came into the side and Embo, made an impact 3 minutes on. I mean, nothing more you could ask for from Embo.
Was it Embo with the assist? Was it? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
Diaco.
because Jacko got took off
That's right.
for Embo, but I mean that's all you can ask for. Him coming in and assisting and get us level, so it almost lifted the spirits up. And then, like you said, we just kind of when we were level, we just kind of okay, we're here. We might get a winner, but I just never once we leveled it up, I never thought we were going to go and get a winner. I figured it'd be a draw or like what would happen is MK Dons is going to win.
Well, I didn't see MK Dons winning it at that point. I'll be honest with you, but I was hopeful. I say a positive Gav this year, not just negative Gav. I mean, we had 60% of the ball yesterday.
Yeah,
did nothing with it. We had one chance on target all game. And you're not going to get promoted if you only have one chance on target. So it's like, well, what do you do? I mean, we scored with our only chance on target.
I'm over here scratching my head. I don't know what we do. Honestly, I think we're just going to float along and hope that goals go in. But like I said, aside from this game, taking our only chance, if against Wimbledon and last week against Cheltenham, if we don't get Pritchard to score those goals, the goals have almost dried up for us.
Completely dried up. And I mean, and it shows how well Stewart's played, the fact that he's only scored 1 goal in 5, and he's still the top scorer in the league.
Yeah.
But then our next best scorer is Broadhead, who's been out, and then Diaco with 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like your likes of Gooch, Pritchard, Ambleton, Neil, Clark and Roberts, now that they come in, need to be contributing more than just attacking football. And look, I like Clark. I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to see more of him yesterday. Again, I would have started Patrick Roberts and Jack Clark as wingers with Pritchard in the middle. I think when we've had that that attack, we've looked a lot better. Roberts looks a handful. He really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, against AFC Wimbledon, against AFC Wimbledon, silly booking for going down in the box, but I'm sure he learned that at the Pep Guardiola School of Football. But yeah, then 73 minutes, Isa comes off, and I was surprised they took Isa off. I thought they'd have brought off Parrott, who I didn't think was having as good a game. When he comes on comes Connor Wickham, and within 3 minutes, we're down 2-1.
Yeah, just pitiful defending. We got opened up, and then Bailey Wright, like I said earlier, just got blown by. See you. Good luck catching me. I'm Connor Wickham, that's had 500 injuries and can still run right past you.
And I thought it was a little bit. I couldn't work out yesterday whether Sunderland fans were booing Wickham for scoring, so I thought his celebration was quite muted, given that he'd scored. Again, look, he's just joined the club. He's got a goal to put them 2-1 up. It was a big goal for him in his career. But I thought Sunderland fans booing him, if they were booing him or booing the team, was kind of productive. And again, look, they were lucky not to go 3-1 down in the dying minutes, when again, static defending meant that the ball was put through to Wickham and almost carbon copy of his goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I for sure thought he was going to make it 3-1. It's getting very hard to watch all the way through.
I mean, look, I love that you're kind of a 2-3-4 year fan. I've got 35-40 years of this rubbish.
Yeah.
And it's always hard to watch. I mean, I love watching it, but it's never a joy. And even when we're playing great free-flowing football and we're attacking and we're looking good, it's a struggle to watch because it's something I'm not used to.
Yeah.
Like, we've had good times and good sides in my time supporting Sunderland. the Peter Reid side that went up and then stayed, finished 7th twice was great to watch. But I got more used to the Reid side that got fired, where he got fired and Wilkinson came in. You've got the Mick Buxton team was awful before Peter Reid came in. You had Buxton, Crosby, Butcher, just awful teams to watch after Dennis Smith. And it was like, but again, Dennis Smith was great to watch. So it's always unusual for me when a Sunderland team is playing really well and they're looking good and they're looking competitive, because they've got nothing to moan about. What used to be 4:45 on a Saturday afternoon, but is now lunchtime. And I've got nobody to moan to here now anyway. Wife doesn't care. She comes up and just laughs at me these days.
It's almost like we're going to turn into another Portsmouth. We're just going to be in this league forever. We're never going to get out.
I mean,
I just feel like we're never going to get out.
Dropped to League Two, so I hope we don't.
Yeah, well,
look, this team is too good to go down. I think we're mathematically safe as well at the moment. No, we're not, are we?
No, I don't think so.
But
I mean, if we lost every game.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
No.
But I'm struggling to see us making it to the playoffs at the moment. Because I think I'm being super positive, and I think we'll come back and beat Burton on Tuesday night. I think more out of hope than actual belief, but I don't see us getting anything out of Wigan.
No, oh God, no.
And if what is more likely to happen, we lose both of those games. That's a month without a win.
Yeah, one win since the turn of the calendar this year. One win
since that Wickham game. Who was the last win we had? Was Sheffield?
Yeah, the drubbing of them. What did we beat them 5-0?
Yeah, and then with an injured squad and COVID ravaged squad, we decided to be the better team or the better organization and fulfill our fixture. When what we should have done is said, you know what, let's just take the week off, get everybody healthy, get everybody fit, and we'll go up against whoever was next and see if we can do better against them.
Yeah, it's just bad times. I don't even think we make the playoffs. I think we kind of are rudderless at this point, and I think we float about like eighth place and just kind of, another year in this league. And every year that since I've supported Sunderland, I've thought, okay, this is the year they're going to get out. And coming into this year, I was hell bent on us getting out of this league. This side's going to do it. We have everybody in place. We're going to do it. No, there's nothing to say that says to me we're going to get out of this league anytime soon.
But the squad of players we've got should be getting us out of this league.
Oh, without a doubt.
There's not one of these players who isn't capable of turning up. And the problem is we're having too many players not turning up at the same time.
Yep.
So, as I say, the only bright spot really of the game for me was Matedi. As I say, he really is just a discount. Conte and has looked fantastic since he came over. Other than that, it's awful to like. I was looking forward to doing these podcasts. I was looking forward to being able to talk about great Sunderland performances, and really having a good time. And they've just turned into the most miserable things to do.
Yeah, I mean, it makes 100% sense why you're saying that. And another thing, don't you think, like, in the January transfer window, you're supposed to strengthen your team? I don't really think we sent the likes of Flanagan out and
all right, so let's jump on this, because there's a lot of grief being given out to the club on Twitter right now because they didn't bring in the right players. The first accusation is that they didn't replace Flanagan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did. They brought in Bath before they got rid of Flanagan.
Yeah.
Flanagan was error prone. He wasn't quick. He wasn't a leader. He's not a miss. He's not the reason why we're losing games. And replacing him is not, or bringing somebody in after isn't the reason we're doing how we're doing. Well, unfortunately that Bath got injured, or Bath, or how are you going to pronounce it? Got injured since he's come in. But that's not the reason why we're in the position we're in. And then you've got everyone, well, you got rid of Hume without replacing him. There's somebody sitting on the treatment table at Sunderland right now who's replacing and doing everything that Hume did this season. Because that was the most pointless renewal of a contract. Actually, no, Benji Kimpioka is probably the most pointless renewal of a contract. They should have just look, let that ship sail. He's not good enough. He's never going to be good enough.
Nope.
Just let him go. So we did bring in Try Hume, who I think has looked good. Bath had a great debut, but we've leaked goals left, right, and centre since, and now he's injured. I think the two wingers, Roberts and Clark, look as though once they're in the team, they're going to be in there and they're going to be hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be difficult for Diaku, Gooch, or McGeady to get in ahead of them. Matete looks fantastic. And then the old man hasn't really had an impact. I don't think he will. I'm going to stick my neck out right now and say Jermaine Defoe doesn't score for Sunderland this season.
No.
I will even go further and say he doesn't play more than 100 minutes for us this season from this point on.
I would agree. I would agree with you on that. I think that was just the club owners.
I think that was KLD spending too much time on Twitter thinking, okay, how do I keep them happy?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was just an impulse buy, just to bring him in, just to hey, revitalize. Hey, look, we brought our old folk hero back in. We're going to revitalize the side, re-energize the side. And
you could tell it was a ridiculous signing because one of our other old folk heroes, Jibril Cisse, was like, well, I'll come and play.
Yeah.
Cisse is 40. I mean, Cisse was great. I love Cisse when he played for Sunderland. When you look at some of the strikers that Sunderland had during that Steve Bruce era, we had Welbeck at the club. You had Kenwyn Jones. You had Darren Bent. We've had Defoe later. You've got Jibril Cisse. You had Danny Welbeck. Fantastic players. Okay, Welbeck was only here on loan and Jibril Cisse was here on loan. I suppose Jan buggered off after a year, but we've had some decent players over the last decade and a half, but now we've got none.
Yeah.
Because I look around the top three, the guys who were above us at the start of play yesterday, and I don't know where any of these players get into those teams. Matete, I think, walks into any team in this league. I think Stewart maybe gets a start.
He might, yeah.
But other than that, I'm struggling to see where the quality in our team is.
None. It's all gone. Yeah, it's all gone. There is none. And what's it say that about us for Wigan to be, as low as they were, and they're almost going to go straight. They're probably going to go up automatically.
I don't think they will. I'm going to stick my neck out on that one as well. So Wigan don't go up automatically. I think they've got 3 games in hand on MK Dons, who are directly below them and 3 points behind them. But they've got a slog of games coming in. They're still in the Pizza Cup. They're still in the League Cup, I think, and the FA Cup. So they have a lot of games coming up ahead of them. And a lot of hard games as well. They've got Wickham on Tuesday night at Wickham. Then they've got us at home. Then they've got Fleetwood, Wimbledon, and they've got Sutton in the EFL Trophy. Then they've got to go to MK Dons. They've got to go to Burton. They've still got Bolton, who've been in fantastic form since the turn of the year. They've still got to play at Ipswich, at Portsmouth. So I don't think their season is by any means guaranteed promotion. I think they're going to get some leggy players next month and into April. And with the World Cup this year being a November tournament, the season seems to finish so early this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like end of April is our last game.
Yeah.
So we're 2 months away from the end of the season. And there's no World Cup to watch in the summer.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So it's and again, it's a shortened summer. I think games begin in July this year as opposed to the normal August.
Yeah.
But
last week of July.
All right. So look, it's been great having you on. I'm going to make you do the obligatory predictions for the next two games because the next podcast is not until next week. So we have Burton at home on Tuesday night. What have you got?
1-0 Burton.
1-0 Burton.
1-0 Burton.
All right. I'm going to lock that in right now. Okay. £5 going on now. That's at 12-1. I'm going to be ultra optimistic. I'm going to say 2-0 Sunderland, which I already secured in. I got 7-1 odds on that one. So as much as I don't want that one to happen, let's have a look. So we want to go matches. Still trying to work out 22nd. That's just Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't have Saturday's fixtures up yet on call yet, but we do have Wigan away at Wigan on Saturday.
2-0 Wigan.
2-0 to Sunderland?
No, 2-0 Wigan.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm being awful pessimistic here.
So if we're listening to you, then Sunderland are going to go on an extended witness run. So after Wigan, we've got Charlton, which is another tough game at this level. So maybe it's Paul Weir's appearance for the Crew game where our next win comes.
Ooh. Well, we got Fleetwood after Charlton.
I go the board behind me.
Oh,
okay. I'm only doing them on Saturdays.
Okay.
So that's just the Saturday games. I've got everyone booked in afterwards. All right. So we're both saying we're going to beat Sunderland, which is a damning indictment given that we've beaten them twice this season.
Right.
I say that we're going to beat Burton on Tuesday night 2-0, and you've gone for a 1-0 Burton win.
Yep.
All right. Well, Chad, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you very much for spending a perfectly good Sunday lunchtime morning about the club.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Hey, guys, we will be back next week. We have Justin Warner on next week after the Wigan game. So if you really want to see somebody moan at a professional level, watch us then. For now, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.